ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah.
What is up, everyone? Look at this. It's not an audio version. Hey, it's something new for you guys.
Well, let's hope not.
No, it's set now.
Don't jinx us, Pete.
Yeah, I got everything set like it should be now. Hopefully, barring any interruptions, it'll be full thing on YouTube as we always roll. But hey, another week down, and man, was it a doozy? We had some big wins on Friday, some big wins and losses on Saturday. The Cowboys ended in a tie, which is why the NFL sucks more than anything else.
I don't give a fuck about the Cowboys.
Just a quick mention of it. But hey, let's get into it. We got some stuff to cover, and then we'll get into this couple coming weeks games. Hey, we'll start off with the early one. You want to take helm, or you want us to start it off, Buddha?
I mean, I can go.
All right,
my first take is if you listen to our audio only, this is 100% Pete's fault. Pete picked LSU. As soon as he said it, Cole and I both went, that's fucking bad news. Second, LSU was hot ass cheeks. Horrible. Pathetic. Disgusting showing. I guess I'll go in order of the game. The game actually started out where, I think Cole even said it in our group text. The game started where I was like, oh, LSU might thump them. LSU might run away with this game. LSU got forced a 3-and-out for the first two possessions for Ole Miss. It was the first 3-and-out Ole Miss had since last year's LSU game. LSU gets a 7-0 lead, gives up a field goal. LSU drives right back down the field. Nuss makes a stupid pick. Game goes downhill from there. The talk is Nuss was not good. The coaching was bad. The talk is the run game. Here's my take on the run game. It's not good. They don't have the ability to do it, but I can guarantee you what you can't do is something you don't try to do. LSU ran the ball 9 times in the first half. 2 of them were to running backs. They ran 2 plays to running backs. One was a 10-yard carry. One was a stop for nothing or a 1-yard loss. If you're not good at running the ball, you definitely ain't going to get better by not doing it. Ole Miss played majority of the game with 3 and 4 in the box, and LSU just continuously didn't try it. I'm sure we're going to talk more about Nuss. Nuss is injured. There's no way he's not. I've seen so much. I watched Aaron Murray's film on him, and even he points out times where he's pulling back, like he's wincing. Nuss had a lot of concerns, right? The decision-making, which absolutely showed up in this game. He threw a ball in a triple coverage. That was a horrible decision. The one thing about Nuss that you could never question before this was his arm strength. He had a great arm. That was his whole deal. He was a gunslinger. He can't throw the ball 40 yards in the air right now. It's pathetic. It's malpractice by BK if he is hurt and we're just not addressing it. It's pissing on me and telling me it's raining. Like you keep saying, the post-game press conferences went like this. BK, what's the status of Nuss's health? He's healthy. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Nuss, what's the status of your injury? I'm not going to comment on my health right now. At least get the message straight if you're going to lie to my face. Right? If you got eyeballs, you can see that a guy that's a gunslinger can't throw the ball with any sort of authority. I actually thought LSU's defense, on a positive note, played relatively okay. I know they gave up a ton of yards. They were on the field for 84 plays. LSU could not get a first down. LSU was, 2 of 11 on third down, and the average yard to go on third down for LSU in that game was 8 yards, which is pathetic. That means they were averaging 2 yards a play on the first, 1 yard a play on those drives. It's horrific. I'm still optimistic about the defense. You got pummeled, and that game was still a 5-point game, and you had them on a 4th and 3. Now, could LSU have driven down and scored to win that game? Probably not. You had no business winning that game. Lane outcoached BK. But, like we talked about with Alabama, I'm not going to get ahead of the LSU season is not dead. It's not. It's still very in front of them. You get a bye week, and then you play a bad South Carolina team, in my opinion. The season's not dead. It does suck, and it sucks that you can't do things that people have said all year, and you didn't even try to do them. It's 100% gimmicky offense. It's screen plays. It's end rounds. It's Joe Sloan doesn't know what he's doing. I'll let y'all talk, and then I might touch back on some stuff as it comes to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, look. I mean, I'm with you on most of what you said. The thing that I think stuck out to me was even let's just say Nuss is hurt for the sake of this conversation. Let's say he's hurt. Let's say it's worse than we think. His decision making, I think, has gotten worse since last year, which is crazy to me. The one thing I thought he'd have going for him, even if you take his deep ball away, his decision making just isn't there. On some plays, I mean, look, again, there's times where I'm like, oh, there's a good decision, right? To me, that's a surprise. You figure a starter coming back, a Heisman hopeful. I mean, I think everyone agreed he was a Heisman hopeful, right? It isn't there right now. Obviously the run game speaks for itself, man. Look, I think it was 57 yards total for the whole game. Let's say you got 10 yards taken away for sacks, so you're still, I mean, you're under 75 yards rushing in a monster matchup, right? I believe Ole Miss had one of the worst rushing defenses in the SEC, if not in the nation.
It was
Going
the
to this
worst
game,
in the SEC.
it was the worst in the SEC. Yeah, so I mean, I think until LSU can find a run game, I don't know what they can do. I saw people saying, "Oh, well, Caden Durham was, he was out." Like, look, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. I think Harlem Berry is just as talented as Caden Durham. I think Jawan Johnson is just as talented as both of them, or Jawan Jackson, whatever his last name is. Um, you know, I think they have an O line problem. I think we kind of heard about it in camp when T-Bob went on his little tangent about it. I think the hope for most LSU fans, including just me as a football fan, was maybe the D line was just that good. But clearly, I think the O line just isn't good. I think they're soft when I watch them up front. They're getting bullied. A lot of what I saw from Bama against Florida State week 1. That's been the recurring theme for LSU's O line. Obviously against Southeastern, against La Tech, they didn't look bad, right? But look, I mean, at the end of the day, if Nuss is or isn't hurt, the decision making I think is still piss poor. I think the O line is soft, and I think until LSU finds a running game, I think they're going to struggle in some big games. All that to say, they have one loss. It's week 5.
Yeah.
I think if I'm an LSU fan, I'm taking a deep breath. I'm saying, hey, we got to figure it out, right? Been there, done that, so I definitely understand it. But yeah, man, that's what I got on it.
All right, I'll have some fun with it. I'm a good guy. I'm gonna be a good guy.
No, false. False. You
I'm not
picked
gonna.
LSU bad guy. Certified bad guy.
I'm not gonna be the bad guy. I'm gonna be the certified good guy. Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna be the bad guy. Hey man, I told you Nuss sucked. He looks like he sucks. I'm not buying the injury thing. Since Nuss has been named a starter for LSU, they're 6-4. He's got 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. It just kind of is showing his ugly head yet again. I do believe the offensive line is trash. Whether he's hurt or not, that is a big deal. We'll see if that plays out, if it is or not. The run game is the big thing that's shocking to me more than anything else. 57 yards, Tulane rushed for more yards against Ole Miss than LSU did this past week, which is crazy. At one point, Ole Miss had 283 yards before halftime. LSU finished the game with around there. So they put up the amount of offense in the first half that LSU did the entire game. I did think at points when they went to the screen plays that they were running to substitute for the run plays, they were working. They were working, and then they got away from them again. I don't know what made them stop running those, but they were working at times where I was just like, oh shit, okay, here they come, and it looked like Nuss was comfortable making those little short throws and anything else. And then the wheels just fell off. I mean, I think the back-to-back defensive pass appearances on when Ole Miss scored before the end of the half were huge. You can't have issues like they were just unbelievable. I was just like, oh my goodness, and it got me questioning, got me scratching my head and thinking about it more. Is this defense as good as we thought they were? That's a big question mark. There's still a lot of answers that can be made throughout the season, but man, I know you're not concerned. Cole, you said you LSU fans shouldn't be concerned either. I'm sorry, I would be concerned. The way the defense played, the way the offense played. Trinidad threw for 314 yards. He ran for 71. Their running back had over 100 yards. No, he had 87 yards. I'm sorry, he didn't have over 100. They finished for 484 yards in the game, which is crazy for you to hear put up against LSU. Crazy, especially after what we thought we saw with the Clemson game. We thought it was going to be completely different, and then it just, I don't know. This Trinidad kid came out there and looked like a superstar, and he's the backup. Like I was like, what is going on here? Nuss didn't really look comfortable outside of the screenplays. Nuss didn't look comfortable to me the whole game. And then something that I talked to Cole about. Maybe you'll have more insight for us on it, Buddha. What type of tight end is this?
What
Hey, that's your
he's more of a Trey Dez is more of a wide receiver. He's like a big body wide receiver. He's it. My NFL comp would be he's bigger than this guy, but it's like Juwan Johnson-esque that the Saints have. He's a red zone threat possession.
yeah. That's what I was.
Yeah.
When me and Cole talked about it earlier, I was like, I think that hurts y'all in the run game as well, not having a true tight end. But Cole said he wasn't sure that if Trey Dez only lined up in the red zone at tight end or more passing plays, or is he in the game the entire time? Is he a full-time starter?
No, Bauer Sharp is the full-time tight end. Trey Dez is more of your got to get it third down guy, stretch the field, and really a red zone threat.
Got you. That's what we were trying to figure out because I was like, if they don't have a big body tight end that can catch and block, then that's an issue too. Because I really hadn't seen him on the field unless it's like you said, a red zone area or a throw up ball where they throw it up to him.
You know, a thing. Go ahead and finish, Pete. My bad. I thought you was done.
No, I mean that first touchdown was kind of scary too because why were both wide receivers lined up right on that side of the ball? Me and Cole asked about it too. The ball should have been picked or batted down, but Nick Anderson just luckily happened to be there.
It was a
Otherwise,
horrible ball by Nuss. Horrible
Yeah.
ball. It was supposed to be a fade ball that he threw a line drive on.
yeah,
It was meant to be a fade ball to Trey Dez, and he threw a dart.
But he's hurt, so it's fine.
Like
it's
we can talk. I'll talk about the Nuss injury after Cole goes. I'm ready to go on record with it.
Yeah, no. So, what I was gonna say too is like, if you remember against Clemson, the receiver screens just seem to be LSU's thing, and it could just be as simple as they have dudes at receiver who are just quick, who nobody can beat them in a shell run. Nobody's catching them within a 10-yard burst. The problem though is that I think the reason they get away from that is because I noticed it against Ole Miss. I didn't really notice against Clemson because I was tanked, but against Ole Miss I noticed it. The DB started really like playing up to it, and they were kind of like daring them to like fake it. And like, look, as someone who's watched a pick six against my quarterback at some point in the last 365 days on a play like that, it's a scary sight when DBs start really getting up on that. But yeah, I wanted to touch on that, and Pete talked about the Nick Anderson touchdown because I still don't understand why Nick Anderson was standing right there. But hey, like, good shit, I guess.
Yeah, it worked out, right? The yardage the defense gave up is concerning. I'll touch on that real quick. I actually thought the defense played pretty good. It's tough to play. They had the bad drive where it starts off with West Weeks does a stupid bonehead roughing the passer, which would have been 2nd and 20. Ole Miss would have been deep in their territory on a 2nd and 20.
Yeah.
And then you get the two back-to-back PIs. The DJ Pickett PI is so frustrating because he 100% commits pass interference, but he didn't have to. If he just doesn't touch him, the ball still gets thrown right to him. It would have been a pick six if he doesn't touch him, but he committed it. I thought the defense did what the defense has done all year. They give up some yardage. It's a bend don't break style, and they turn the ball over. And they did turn it over twice, right? Like they had 2 big turnovers, and LSU couldn't capitalize. Now the screenplay, I think Cole hit it right on the head. Like you got to get away from it because when it's the only play you have, you start running where defenses have no threat that you can beat them over the top. So the Chris Hilton ball, that's the one that I sent y'all the video on where like you can tell something's not right with Nuss. Like he collapses his body when he throws it. Chris Hilton had like 6 yards of separation. That ball should have been if he just throws it into the end zone, that's a walk-in touchdown. But he can't get it there. So secondaries have no concern with going, we're just going to play on the ball because all y'all can do is throw slant routes and screenplays. That's all y'all can do consistently. So you kind of got to get away from it, but then they don't try to run it. Nuss can't throw it deep. Nuss is hurt. I've seen enough of it. I've got enough information to feel confident in saying that. I texted y'all the timeline. Now, this is an assumption. This is a guess. BK talks to the media Wednesday afternoon. I think you're going to hear something about he aggravated this thing in the Ole Miss game. They're going to monitor it, and they're going to sit him. They're going to monitor it, and they're going to sit him. They're going to sit him down in practice for a couple days to let him get better. I think you're going to hear mid next week that he got back to practice and it was re-aggravated. And upon further testing, it's going to require a surgery. And I think you watched Garrett Nussbauer play his last snap of football for LSU last Saturday. I think Michael Van Buren starts the South Carolina game and he starts the rest of the way. That's what I
That
truly believe. I
that would be
told you,
huge.
all I heard was when I asked the question, I basically got told, sorry, was fibbing. Right? Like that's what I feel like. And I had heard this morning on another from somebody else I trust on another podcast in passing. That's not an LSU pod. It was said, so that got me digging on it. I texted y'all. I don't have enough to have a full where I can guarantee it. This is just my thoughts based on what I've heard. That timeline is that's me completely guessing, going Nostra cheese out here. That's just me guessing it. But then a report came out about an hour and a half ago from Lon Phillips that was basically on the same messaging that I heard, and LSU came out and said there's no truth to it. And one thing I've learned about athletic programs is when they say it's kind of like when a coach goes, "I'm not taking that job." You can almost bank on it. That rumors don't start swirling about your quarterback having surgery if there's nothing to it, right? And it's not coming from message boards; it's coming from guys who cover the team. I think there's something there, and I really think Garrett Nussmeier's probably played his last snap at LSU. That's just a guess. I hope not. I hope he gets healthy because when he's healthy, I think he gives us our best chance to win. So like that's not me. I don't want a healthy Nuss to not play.
Yeah.
But if he's hurt, your offense can't do anything when he's hurt.
Yeah. My pushback on the Nuss injury is I don't think he's hurt, because if he was hurt, then they should have set him for the Southeastern game.
I have thoughts on that. I want to hear it.
No one. He looked good in the Southeastern game. He was making throws. He looked good. He threw for 300 something yards. Like, to go from there to where he is now, to say he got re-injured to start off the game is crazy, unless he hurt it in practice or something and it wasn't being reported. But if he's that hurt, you don't play him for that Southeastern game.
I have a thought.
I mean, Quinn had that oblique injury throughout the season. Soon as it happened, or right after the Michigan game, he didn't play again until 3 or 4 weeks later. Or no, he sat out 3 games, and because it was an injury that could only get worse. That's the kind of injury. That's like you said. If he's truly hurt, then Brian Kelly is a idiot.
I have a thought on the Southeastern game, him playing. So we know for a fact that this core injury took place in camp. That's confirmed. Kelly's talked about it. It got reported slightly when it happened, or the rumors had come out. I think he had gotten to about 85% for Clemson. I think the Clemson game, he redid a little bit to it. I think the hype was so big. Kelly was like, we're playing Louisiana Tech. I can get him in, not do a lot with him. We can get at halftime, I can pull him, no harm, no foul, gets a full week's rest, essentially, ready for Florida. Then you play Florida, and I think it was like, well, he's 75%, he can get it done. And I think the Southeastern game, it was like, well, I can't now go back on it and be like, he's been hurt all year. Because then people have been like, why didn't you sit him against Southeastern? Especially after you have the blow up in the press conference where you call everybody stupid. It's really hard after you call people spoiled and stupid for questioning the offense for you the next day or 2 days later on Monday to go, actually, guys, terrific questioning, hurt, which he did say. If you remember, he did come out and go, well, he had a little oblique injury he's dealing with. But it's really hard to go, yeah, we've known about it, and I shouldn't have played him the last 2 weeks. And I think what happened, you got to Ole Miss, and all of a sudden he got hit a couple times, and he starts pressing. And I think this thing has gone from he was 85% to start the year to he's like 50% now.
Yeah. So, look, I don't know whether he's hurt or not. I think he looks different than he did at his peak last year, probably. I don't trust a fucking thing BK says. So I don't care what he says on Wednesday. I don't care what he says tomorrow, the next day. I don't care. Look, this goes back to, and look, I know BK is the easiest coach to hate. Like, he just has that attitude.
Oh yes,
This goes back to how he handled the questioning after the Florida game, and he's just like a little crybaby about it. And like, look, come to find out, like, oh shit, like now it's gonna be like, well, yeah, he's actually hurt. And look, like, who's gonna trust BK now? Who? You done ruined yourself, brother. You done ruined yourself. We'll see, man. I mean, obviously for Nuss's sake, I hope he doesn't, have to hang up for the rest of the season. But look, it is what it is. I mean, unfortunately, but like I said, I don't know. Even whatever BK says, I'm probably still not gonna believe it. I'll just wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some good news. What about Alabama getting a fucking mega win?
Yeah, it looks like Alabama squeaked one by against Kirby.
Week one bye.
24-21. Go ahead, Cole. Give us your thoughts.
Look, man, look. I said it all week. Said it all off season, and I was wrong week one. Bama is still Bama. Okay. Kirby Smart still cannot beat Alabama for whatever reason. We could play him in his backyard, in his living room, in that expensive stadium that we played the SEC championship in. It doesn't matter. He just can't beat him. It's like the worst curse in the world. Look, the game started off phenomenal. Couldn't draw it up better if I had to myself. You go 14-0. No, at no point did I think like, oh, we're gonna run away with it. Obviously I was fired up at 14-0, but anything I said can't be held against me at this point. Georgia fought back, went to halftime up 10, come out the second half, drive down, miss a field goal. Can't do that, man, in big games like that. That one really pissed me off. It was a long field goal, longer than it should have been. And obviously, ultimately, Kirby decides to go for it on 4th and 1 when he could have tied it up with a field goal. It bit him in the ass. They didn't get it. And luckily, Ryan Grubb had some phenomenal play calls down the stretch to keep Bam with the ball, which is what we wanted. Ty Simpson finishes with like 275, 2 touchdowns. He ran for a touchdown. Ty Simpson continues to be really, really, really good. 24 of 38. One of those being a mega drop by Ryan Williams, just streaking down the middle of the field. Nobody within 7 yards of him, but hey, he's got the dropsies. I might have said on TikTok Live that he's not going to be good in the NFL. I probably didn't mean it. I was emotional. Whatever. Look, man, I think at the end of the day, like, we played as good as I thought we could have. The O-line played great. Caden Proctor caught a 10-yard screen pass. I mean, what are we doing? It was like rumbling, bumbling, stumbling with him with the ball, dude. He just
LSU's best running back.
He took Jam Miller, threw him 5 yards with a defender in front of him. I'm like, what are we doing? Dude, look, receivers blocked really well on a lot of receiver screens. Ryan Williams had one specific one. He kind of misses his block to start. Jeremy catches the ball behind him. He looks back and just takes off. And this also shows how fast he is. He burns Jeremy and just throws himself into a safety for a huge block. Defensive line, I thought played really well. I know Georgia ran for like 220 or something. They had 2 runs that were 45 yards apiece that were just untouched. Neither of them were up the middle, so that's kind of just like a scheme thing. Secondary played really good. I think we held Stocks into like 130 passing or something. I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, 130 exactly, actually. The running game for Bama was still kind of like, Jam Miller coming back did help. There was a lot of short yardage plays where we needed the yards, and Jam just got it. Breaking tackles, doing what he had to do. Jam Miller in pass protection is a work of art. I think so many NFL coaches are watching him right now and being like, we're going to draft this guy just because he can pass block so well. I mean, it's really impressive. End of the day, look, it was a massive win. I think if Ty Simpson continues on the streak that he's on, I don't think there's any reason to think that we can't be in the college football playoff at the end of the year. If not in the SEC championship. I mean, we'll see. It's a long season. But look, Bama's got a hard stretch. This was the start of it. You got this one. You got Vandy, Mizzou, I think South Carolina, Tennessee, LSU. I don't know if that's the exact order, but something like that. But you got to win this first one at Georgia. This was the one I had circled on my calendar, just like everybody else did. I think it's a massive win. I like what I saw. I mean, I'll let y'all talk, and I'll probably say a little more after y'all talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Say, before we go, college football's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
It's like the only thing in the world that can make you feel the way you do, the highs and the lows. Like, I feel in the dumps. Cole feels on top of the moon. And in week 1, it was flipped. Like,
Yeah.
I felt on top of the moon. Y'all felt down in the dumps. Like, it's incredible how it's week to week. And I love it. I wouldn't have it another way. LSU lost, and I feel like we're not going to win another game. Bama wins, and it's like we win a national title. And that's the best thing about the sport, because that's how, when LSU beats South Carolina in 2 weeks, I'm going to be the same way. I'll be like, we got it fixed. Solved it. Let's go. Back on course. Like, it's an incredible sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you on Ty Simpson. I think Ty Simpson's got a place in New York coming up pretty soon. By the end of the year, if he keeps playing at this level of football, because he's playing lights out right now. My big concern, like you pointed it out, was the Georgia rushing game. They did rush for 227 yards on y'all. Um, we'll see. We'll see. I honestly, was it you that asked it, or was it? Yeah, you asked. Does Alabama have the best wide receiver room? And the only reason I'll push back and say no, not really, is because of the drops. And we talked about it. You know, Ryan's had a couple big drops. Isaiah Horton had a big drop in a previous game as well, and it's just kind of like, man, if these catches are made, Simpson's numbers are even more up there to where you're like, yeah, this kid's the truth right now. This kid's the front runner. Um, Outside of that, I mean, what a hell of a game! What a hell of a game!
Yeah, I'll touch on the dropsies for a second here. So, like, obviously, like, I think Bama has the best receiver room in the country. I've kind of said that before. I don't think, in my opinion, it's fair to say no just because of drops because, A, like, they're getting open. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're open. Like, yeah, they're not completing the process, right? Like, a receiver's job is to get open, catch the ball, score. They're doing the first part really well. I mean, I think we have probably four legit drops on the year, which, like, 4 drops in 4 games. I could live with that and still think that we're the best in the nation. But that's all I'll say about that. I mean, that's obviously, like, it's an opinion, right? Like, we all have different opinions on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you feel
What
about the game, Buddha?
what a game for Alabama, right? I think it's more about Alabama than it is about Georgia. I mean, incredible. Like everybody in college football media had stamped Alabama as dead, and then again back to the sport of college football though. Like a month later, and it's like, is Alabama maybe the best team in the country? Right? Like, did they just have a funky start? But also, like with Georgia, like Kirby's got a real Alabama problem. I think he looks different. He acts different on the sidelines too. Like everything about it.
It's in his head. It's in his head now.
I know, like get morale going, which is not a Kirby thing. Usually, he's like pushing other players and crying about penalties to opposing backup quarterbacks and shit. You know, we saw that with Mississippi State game last year. Usually, he's like cussing, like, and when he plays Alabama, he becomes like this, like not like it's like a different. He basically morphs into James Franklin when he plays Alabama. He just cannot figure it out. And for a long time, you could chalk it up as like nobody figured out how to get Saban. It ain't Saban, and it ain't a Saban disciple over there. This is a completely new guy, and it's deer in headlights when he shows up to play Alabama. This is back-to-back years where Bama just, like, they enter the game way more prepared. It looks like watching when Les Miles was the coach at LSU playing Bama. Like, big game, and then like you come out just frozen, and Alabama just starts pummeling you quick. It's kind of shocking. And like for that reason, like a lot of people are gonna have questions on Georgia. I think Georgia's just fine. I think the Georgia team that played Tennessee is more comparable to what they're gonna play everybody else like than the Alabama game. Georgia's biggest fear is that they see Alabama again down the road. Because he can't do it. And it's starting to become where it's a real mental hurdle that I don't think it's gonna require heroics for Kirby to get over it. It's crazy to me that he's the best coach in the sport in everybody's opinion, and he just cannot beat Alabama.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And look, another thing, we talked about how this is DeBoer's second year, obviously. And, look, I sent in the group chat earlier. I'll say it on here. I think DeBoer gets a little disrespected a lot by a lot of people. I don't know if it's necessarily by y'all. I know it's not by me. DeBoer's now 7-0 against Lanning, Sark, and Kirby. 2-0 at Bama against Kirby, which is the big one for me, right? A lot of people say, like, oh, DeBoer's not the guy. But look, here he is, 2-0. He had Georgia come to Tuscaloosa, beat them, went to Georgia and beat them. In my opinion, just those two alone is huge, huge wins. Now I know he's got some pretty bad losses as well. Vandy last year, Oklahoma last year, obviously the bowl game to Michigan, but Tennessee last year was a playoff team, so I'm not gonna say that's a bad loss. But look, another thing on Bama's side, played really clean. Only 4 penalties for like 20 yards, I think it was, which is huge because Bama had a penalty problem all last year. They were every game I think every game Bama lost in the last 2 years, they significantly had more penalties than the opposing team, obviously. A little injury news. Quo Russaw, kind of an edge guy for Bama. He has a broken foot, out indefinitely, which is a pretty big loss because now at that position, because Jamarian Latham, the guy who, had the neck injury last week, and luckily he's not like, knock on wood, but he can move everything right now. He's not going to play anymore this year either. So now we've got two healthy Wolf linebackers, which will be interesting to see who they move around. Because one of those is a true freshman. Wilkin Formby, right tackle. A lot of y'all have heard me say that name before in frustration. 93.2 pass block grade, his best performance of his life. And look, I hope he keeps building on it, because if you're doing that against Georgia and between the hedges, I think that just shows that he can ball. He just has to do it, right? But no, man. I mean, I was super happy with it. Kalen DeBoer in a black hoodie is like untucked Kobe, or untucked Kyrie. Sorry. It's just something that you just don't want to see as an opposing team. So if Kalen DeBoer is wearing a black hoodie every game for the rest of the year, Bama will go undefeated for the rest of the year and win a national championship. Period. There's no way around it. The black hoodie will not lose.
Hey, not so fast, my friend. Y'all got Vandy this weekend.
Oh, I know
Y'all
your
got
boyfriend.
Peso.
Very
Y'all
true.
got Peso Pavia. But not only do y'all have Peso Pavia, we got everyone's favorite quarterback to hate on and favorite guy that loves the white powder. Johnny Manziel has came out and said he will be on the Vanderbilt sideline.
Like what a fucking loser, huh? First of all, let's just talk
Exactly.
about this. Johnny Manziel is a nobody now. Look, incredible college football player. Incredible. When what he did that 1 year at Bama, at A&M, was incredible. The dude's a nobody now. I don't know why this is news. I don't know why it popped up on my feed earlier on Twitter. I think it's a joke. I think he's a joke. Him being on the sidelines wearing a Diego Pavia jersey does nothing. He's not going to play the game, so I don't care. I do not care if he's going to be there. Watch him lose by 30. Go ahead.
I am very, very, very intrigued to watch that game. Right, game day's going to be there. It's the first test, in my opinion, of this Clark Lee Vanderbilt era, like where you get to see what Vanderbilt really is, because they're not going to sneak up on Alabama this year. There is no like, oh wow, they're physical. We didn't expect that. You're going to get Alabama's best punch. You're going to get Vanderbilt's best punch. You get a real litmus test as to where Vanderbilt stands as a program, because right now they've beaten a lot of bad teams. Virginia Tech, they beat South Carolina, who's horrible, not good. Laura Sellers didn't really play that game. Horrible. Like they're not. I don't know what Vanderbilt is. You're gonna learn a lot about it on Saturday. Also, it's incredible that game day is gonna be at that. That's
We got Alabama versus Vanderbilt for a college game day. I never thought I would say that in my lifetime, ever.
Yeah.
crazy.
Crazy work.
What a great sport, man.
Work. My big question going into that game is I don't know what Vanderbilt's defense is going to look like. They've given up points and given up yards all year. So with Ty Simpson coming in and that high-powered offense, I don't know what's going to happen. And I mean, their offense has been putting up points as well. So we'll see how their offense faces up against that Alabama defense. But
little
it should
note
be a
for
good
that
one.
game too. Little note for that game too. Alabama defensive tackle James Smith on a routine tackle at the line of scrimmage in the interior of the line got called for a targeting against old Georgia. So that was in the second half. So he's out for the first half in case anybody cares. Just unreal, man.
This targeting kid is fucking
an
insane.
An interior D lineman. He literally jolted forward like this far. And yeah, his head hit the other dude's helmet, but like, come on, bro, what are we doing, man? Targeting has to be addressed.
Ridiculous, dude. Like the intent of the targeting penalty was to avoid injury. It was to avoid the old Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu style hits over the middle of the field, or it was to avoid guys teeing off on quarterbacks. It was not designed to remove a guy from a half of football who's playing on the interior defensive line. That's not what it's not intended for, like, oh, a D lineman's face mask hit an offensive lineman's face mask on a goal line play, so we need to eject him and hold him out for a second half. That's not what this thing's fucking intended for. And it's stupid, and we have to evaluate it in all season. You can't fix it right now, but in the offseason, it has to get looked at.
I agree. 100%.
Yep, absolutely. LSU has a bye week, so we don't have to touch on that. We just touched on Vandy,
Well,
Alabama.
let's touch on
Which way to go?
Oregon, Penn State. What do y'all think about whiteouts? Curious. I have some facts on whiteouts that I'd like to share.
First off, I love the fact that the game day cast all wore white suits. I thought that was amazing. I also think that I will never in my life believe in James Franklin until he proves me wrong, not one, not two, but three times. Because so far, every single time he lures me in, he's like, "Come on, I get closer, and then bam, they get beat." I'm just not gonna do it. I will never pick Penn State again. I will never cheer for Penn State again. I won't bet on them again. I will never say James Franklin's a good coach ever again.
Is
Penn
the
State.
the most overrated tradition in college football? And when I say tradition, I'm gonna ask this question, and y'all can just say, how old do you think the whiteout is? How long do you think they've been doing the
No
whiteout?
clue. No
50
clue.
years.
2004. Here's an interesting
Oh.
fact. The first time they ever did it, they were playing Nebraska. And the only reason they did a whiteout was because they didn't want the stands to be overrid with red clothing. And that makes no sense because Penn State's colors are white and blue. So telling your team to wear one of those colors, neither of them's red. That doesn't make sense. They called it the iodine game to bleed out the red. It's supposed to be all white. That's why they did white. They lost. They went 0-1. They then followed it up the next week when they played Purdue and lost again. Then they played a game later that year in 04 where they called it the blue game, code blue. They won that game. The next year they were like, we're going back to whiteouts. They're 13 and
Coach
they're like
Blue's kind of
13.
cool.
They're like 13-9 in whiteout games. They're not good. And they
No.
don't win them. They're like
I'll say this. Look, call me corny, but I kind of like Code Blue. I think that's kind of fire, to be honest.
That's way better. It's way better to go a whiteout or code blue. Code blue sounds way sicker.
James Franklin can't win the big game. I forgot how many total big wins he has in his career. I think it's it's one. And it's a Penn State game. It's the Ohio State game where they blocked the field goal and returned it for a touchdown. The only big win he has on his resume. That's it. Somehow he squeaked into the playoffs because they didn't really play anybody. And I there's no belief in Happy Valley for me whatsoever because it ain't happy there.
Do you also know that Georgia, the last time Bama played in Athens, also did a blackout game and also got their tails handed to them? So blackout games at Georgia might need to be investigated as well. I'm just saying.
That's true. I forgot it was a blackout game, and DeBoer wore a black hoodie.
And so our strength coach said, somebody asked him like, why is Kellen DeBoer wearing a black hoodie? He said, because it's a fucking funeral and we're coming ready. He said they're wearing black for their own fucking funeral. I'm like,
that is fucking awesome. Awesome. Also, how about that Friday night game? I know we touched on it on the live.
Both of them.
Greatest field rush of all times.
I don't know if it's greatest because, dude, it was like scary. I genuinely thought that Florida State receiver was dead. I said it in the group. I said I genuinely think he's dead. I was concerned for his safety, and I think that not to be like boomer-esque. Like, I'm not a boomer. I'm a millennial, but like not to be boomer-esque, but like something's got to change with that, man. You can't have a kid laying on the ground and the entire stadium sprint over him because that's how bad things happen. That's how bad things happen.
I am all about rushing the field. You got to have more than 4 seconds until there's 7,000 people in the end zone. Because that's what happened. The game ended, there was 1,000 people within a blink of an eye. I mean, it was ball hit the ground, 1,000 people in the end zone immediately. It was insane. It was the greatest field rush I've ever seen. That might also ruin field rushing forever.
I don't know if it can ruin it. I don't think they got penalized either because out of the SEC penalizes their teams. The ACC doesn't have that penalty. I don't think they fine them.
No, they don't get penalized because they do that thing kind of like Clemson where they have like a big hill where like students can go watch the game and stuff, and towards the end of the game they all were already on the hill just in case, right? But like, man,
which was
a lot of talking heads are like, oh, this, obviously this is before Bama beat Georgia, but everybody's like, oh wait, maybe that Bama loss to Florida State isn't a good loss. And I'm just like, all right, like, what are we doing here? But obviously it's all relevant now because Bama beat Georgia. But before the game, I was just like, this is stupid. Like, what are we doing?
Virginia's also good. Like Virginia's,
Yeah,
they're a good team.
Virginia will finish the season. Virginia will be in playoff contention, I think, towards the end of the year.
They're going to sneak up.
I don't
That
know if they'll make the
quarterback,
playoff. They'll be.
that quarterback is a dog. That quarterback is a dog. I was
He was
like,
shredding.
man, I could watch this kid
Shredding
play
them.
because he is just tearing it up with his legs and his arm. I'm like, this dude is just balling out of control. Um, yeah, but I thought, in my personal opinion, I think he's the best field rusher of all time. I don't think I can't think or remember one that looked as awesome as that one did, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming up this week, so LSU does have a bye. We'll wait on the news for Nuss if there's an injury. We got Bama, Vandy. We got Texas, Florida. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Texas hasn't played an SEC game yet. This will be the first SEC game for Texas, and we'll see how it goes from there. Outside of that, I don't have anything else. I got anything else for him?
No, that Texas game.
No, I mean, huh?
That Texas Florida game is somewhat intriguing. I think Texas wins it handily, but I mean it's a real defense. Like Florida's got a real. I mean their defense is solid. Like they held Miami in check. Like they're a pretty good defense. It'll be a good test to see where Arch is. You know what Texas looks like going in. It'll be by far their toughest matchup since the Ohio State game. So a lot to learn there. And then obviously we already talked.
That's what I would say is on the Texas Florida game. I think we'll find out if Arch is back, so to speak, right? Like obviously the last game, like he destroyed Sam Houston State. I think this will tell us a lot. I think this week LSU Ole Miss was the tell a lot game. Bama Georgia was tell a lot game. And I think this is Texas's obviously tell a lot game. Obviously Texas played Ohio State week 1. I'm not ignoring that, but I'm saying that was a week 1 game. So I think this game, you'll learn a lot. And I agree with Boone. I do think Texas is much better than Florida. So
yeah, Trayvon Wisener will be back. Well, he's suspected to be back. The way Sark answered it in the press conference was kind of funny, but kind of hey, him just being an ass as well too. Because they asked, hey, do we have an injury update? He goes, hey, good thing about being in the SEC and now we're in SEC play. You'll get a medical release on Wednesday, so y'all don't have to ask me that question, and I don't have to tell you anything. But he is progressing, and we'll see how it goes. So I think he'll play. I'm hopeful that he plays because honestly, we need him in the backfield because that's gonna not only help our running game out, which has kind of been not there whatsoever, but it helps Arch back because it's something else he can fall back on. If things aren't going right, he just feed the ball to Weisner, and we'll see how it goes from there. Looking forward to it. We'll do our picks, of course, later in the week. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
Auburn lost again.
I knew it was coming.
Horrible.
Knew it was coming. A&M squeaks by and wins 16-10 in that one, and they're celebrating like they're yet again like they're at the top of the mountain. We'll see. Who do they play next? I don't even know.
A&M? I'm not sure. I can pull it up real quick.
I don't know.
Pull
I think
if y'all buy me some time.
I think speaking of A&M, looking at LSU's schedule, I think the LSU A&M game makes or breaks LSU season. They got South Carolina and Vandy before it. I think LSU very easily could be sitting at 6-1 with still a loss to be had. And if I say they're going to lose to Alabama, you got to win the A&M game because I don't see LSU losing to Arkansas or Oklahoma. The back end, I think it's going to come down to 1-1 against A&M and Bama. So if you can get to 10-2, you play Bama at Bama. I just think that A&M game becomes the biggest game of the year for LSU.
A&M plays Mississippi State next, for the record.
Mississippi State is a dangerous team.
They're physical.
It is in
well.
A&M.
That helps. That helps A&M.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting,
really
man. It'll be interesting. Look, Bama's got, you talk about the stretch coming up. Bama's got an insane stretch coming up. I mean, obviously right now, I'm feeling great, right? We just beat Georgia. That's amazing. But unfortunately, it's the start of a tough stretch. See how it goes, man. It's gonna be a grind. It's gonna be a grind.
This is a question for both of y'all. So to me, this is how I feel about it. I feel if Alabama goes out and beats Vandy, it's just, hey, they're beating Vandy. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But complete opposite if Vandy wins. If Vandy wins, then it's kind of like, whoa, that's kind of the Bama effect, though. And I'm not trying to be like stuck up, but like it kind of is. Like
like Bama loses to anybody, it's like, oh my God, they just won a Super Bowl. Bama beats somebody, unless it's like Georgia at Georgia or LSU at LSU. Then it's just like, oh yeah, you expect Bama to win that. So yeah, I mean, do I expect Bama to win? Yes. Do I think the win should matter? Yeah, I mean, Vandy's in the top 20. I mean, I think Vandy's at least decent, you know.
Yeah.
I think Vandy will finish 8-4, if not better, this year. But nonetheless, I mean, Bama has Vandy, Mizzou, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU. That's the stretch.
So it's gauntlet.
I mean, it is, and like everybody's in SEC play now, so it's not just Bama who has tough schedule, but it's a really tough 5-game stretch. But look, I want to see us come out just as fired up, and I think we will, because I think a lot of players remember last year. They remember how embarrassing that was. I think they're going to come out ready to play, even if it's a dogfight, even if we win by a field goal. You just got to win the game at this point. Every week, you just have to win the game.
I think I also think it's a statement game for both quarterbacks. I think whichever quarterback wins this game, it puts them even a step above the rest, because Diego Pavia is leading the SEC right now as a passer, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any universe where I think Diego Pavia is even comparable to Ty Simpson. But that just is what it is. I mean, it's just two completely different play styles. Like I don't think there's any universe where he's better than Ty Simpson or as good as him.
I know we're gonna make.
I can see that.
It's gonna take a lot of convincing for me to even think Vandy has a prayer.
We shall see. It should be a good one. But if y'all got anything else, we can close it out, guys.
For the record, Diego Pavia has one more game than Ty Simpson, and he only has 50 yards more passing. I just looked it up. So, just for the record. For the record.
he hates our Pavia's got a step above anybody.
No, he doesn't have anything. He needs a step stool because he's tiny. So
it is that weird part of the year where when you look at stats, you have to go look at how many the kind of per game metric, because not a lot of teams have played different amounts of games to this point. Like not everybody's gotten to their first bye yet. So like I saw one today. It was like somebody was like, "This is actually me being anti-LSU." Somebody was like, "I'm so tired of hearing LSU doesn't run the ball. They're not even dead. They're ranked like 10th in the SEC in rush attempts, which is not like a big brand. LSU's not. LSU per game runs the ball less than everybody in the SEC. It's just pathetic. But it is that weird time where, like, I think that's a relevant point that he pulls, like, Ty's played one less game and has 50 less yards.
No, I get it. All right, fellas, let's close it out, and we'll see y'all Friday. As always, hook 'em.
Roll Tide, we're the best ever.
First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces.